Hello, my friends, and welcome to podcast number 5. If you're wondering when these podcasts are available, you can go to everydaydetox.org and sign up for the newsletter. We are also now available on iTunes. Just search for Everyday Detox on iTunes, or you can follow the link on our website. iTunes is acting a little funny lately, and it's not listing our episodes when you do the initial search. So I guarantee that if you click that subscribe button, that all the episodes will be ready and available and waiting for you. So go ahead and subscribe to us on iTunes. Here we go. Podcast number 5, most likely to be the longest and the loudest podcast to date, because I am joined by none other than the Bex of BEXLIFE.com, Rebekah Borucki. She is well known for being a YouTube goddess, a fitness and yoga instructor, a meditation teacher, an organic gardener, a backyard chicken farmer, a goat herder, the wife of rockstar photographer Justin Borucki, mother of 5, actually pregnant with baby number 5 at the time of this podcast, and all-around superwoman and a very long-time dear friend of mine. And for that reason, she is very forgiving of the fact that 30 minutes into starting this podcast, I realized that the recording had stopped. So here we go. For a second time around, podcast number 5. Welcome, Rebekah Borucki. Let's recap. You don't like lychees.
It's not that I don't like lychee. Well, it's a first-time thing. You know how I am about trying new things. I'm against it. So the texture and the taste combined was a little bit weird.
It's weird. I think it tastes floral. It's almost like eating sweet incense.
Okay, that's...
It's
I mean, come on.
That doesn't sound appealing to you, sweet incense?
It's like sweet ashy incense.
You know what?
No.
You know what? Now that we're going for the second time here with the recording, we don't have to explain what a bearded beaver is.
The bearded beaver was that's the hashtag though that's going to bring this home. I will say that you are the bearded beaver of BEXLIFE.com. My ladies love you. Ladies love Cool Mike.
Do I look like a Justin Bieber though with this shaved head? You know, I look at myself sometimes and I look
no.
Sometimes like when I wake up in the morning, I'll be standing there and with like a tank top and like tattoos, and I feel like I should be like standing in front of a trailer with like a shotgun and I just look crazy. Don't I look crazy or I look good?
I've gotten mixed comments on the beard. I mean, I took that unofficial poll, and so some of the ladies are liking it, and some say it makes you look older, and they don't like it, and they like you better clean shaven. It's whatever. It's whatever you want.
I was trying to get a sense because I'd never looked from the outside in. I've always felt, because I'm your friend and you've included me in Bex Life, in the videos and everything. So I never looked at like the YouTube phenomenon and in the Bex Life empire. And I've never looked at it from the outside. And I kind of looked at it from the outside for one time last night, trying to anticipate what people might want to hear to have you on the podcast and how people see you. And it's really like become... It's really unfolding into something much bigger, in a sense, affecting the world in like an Oprah type of a way. Yeah. Now Oprah's the queen of this, obviously, and mastered all media.
She always wasn't though. I mean, like she had her share of like skinhead videos and like my husband's cheating on me and makeovers and stuff. It's like the thing is that this has been happening all along because to get to this place. I mean, I'm not in Oprah's place. Please God. You have to have that thing going on. Everyone has this secret. Every successful person has, this kind of greater awareness of self or of how the way things work. I mean, that's how success comes about. They just don't reveal it in their work necessarily. And I've had this great opportunity to be able to reveal it in my work.
Inspiring people with your life through media.
Yeah. The media part's great. I think social media is another amazing invention of God, and it's just a way for us to connect to each other. So
it opens up so many avenues, but does it drive you crazy sometimes? No. It doesn't drive you crazy, all the Facebook madness and stuff.
I don't look at my newsfeed.
That's why you never like my stuff?
No, I don't see it, honestly. I mean, even my notifications I hardly even look at. I'm not into like the whole just like kind of scrolling through the newsfeed thing. I'll do it every once in a while out of guilt because people are liking my stuff, so I should be nicer. But
the poor baby.
It's all right. I'm just like, I don't even hear babies. But yeah, I don't get wrapped up in that. I spend very little time doing the social media net surfing type thing.
Mm-hmm. So you just put your posts out there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in the world.
See, I have to do that. I'll go on to post something and I'll be like, because I'm connected to very phenomenal people, you being one of them. So I'll look and I'll be like, oh my God, I didn't know that. And like 3 hours will pass. And you know what's interesting? I look at the most amazing things on Facebook, whether it be funny or like some new science thing or something relating to my field, like detox work or nutrition or something. And I couldn't tell you a single thing that I've learned on there. But I know that it's all quality when I'm reading it. I'm like, this is amazing. I would have never known this. But my brain can't handle it all.
I feel like I know a lot of the stuff I need to know to get through the day. I'm not saying it's good to be worldly and to like know what's going on. And the big news I figure out through Jon Stewart and the like. But I'm just, the big news. But most of the stuff that we feed ourselves during the day is so useless. Like, I don't need to know if someone got hit by a car. I really don't need to know if an earthquake happened. None of this stuff really applies to me.
In another part of the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
we know too many things. We know things we don't need to know. We know the misery of the world now.
Right.
Like we know about all the misery all over the world. We didn't have all that. We used to have to find that in a paper that we would choose to read a week later. But now it's like instant.
Remember when we used to go to the library and get an encyclopedia out to do like a research paper?
I almost bought an encyclopedia set like 15 years ago,
That
and I'm so glad I did not.
All the stuff that we were talking about was such old information.
So they were fascinating, though. There was magic in books.
Yeah, I mean, I was never a book person, but I like doing the research. I like doing that kind of stuff. It's just too instant now. But yes, I don't need to know a lot of stuff, and I'm good with that. I know about the Housewives. I know what's going on with Teresa Giudice. It's like I like the stuff that makes me feel good. I want to know about, and the rest of the stuff can kind of fall by the wayside.
So when you are making video content, then who do you have in mind? Like, are you anticipating who you're communicating to, or you just do what's your thing, like, and that's it? Or do you think about do you think about the needs of the people that are watching your videos?
I know who my audience is, and I know how to have a conversation with those girls. I mean, I call them girls. They're women too, but I know how to call up my girlfriend on the phone and talk about a problem that I'm having with my husband or some heartbreak that I'm having in my life or some anxiety about something. I know how to have those conversations, and that's what my meditations really are. They're like, they're conversations. So that's and I feel like I channel a lot when I meditate. Like when I go into that deep state, you'll see sometimes in my videos, which my hypnotist pointed out, which I never realized that.
Ooh, Grace
Smith. I said that I was channeling during this one meditation, and she said, it's so interesting. When I channel, I always have to move to the left because there's this like energy that's coming into me. And I said, you have to be kidding me. And I went back and I looked at the meditation, and I had shifted. And I knew it because when I was editing it, I was so upset with myself because I was like, why is my posture so bad in this meditation? And that's the first time I had channeled on video, where I would really just let myself go and just say whatever I was going to say. So the conversations, the information that I'm downloading from God.
It's channeling knowledge, or is it channeling a person?
It's knowledge. It's words that are absolutely mine and feel like mine, but I know that's not a thought of mine. It's
yes, I know that, right?
So it's coming through me, and then I'm like, okay, this is good. I'm just going to keep going with this. And I can tell the difference, but that's the kind of information I need. I don't need to know about an earthquake. I need to know what's going to get me and the people who are watching me through this day with the stuff that's going on immediately around them. And I don't have people in mind when I make a meditation unless it's like I get a request and I'm fulfilling a request for meditation for a midterm that's coming up. But that's what it is. It's a way for me to be used as a vessel, and I ask for that. I mean, I don't pray for a lot of things. I don't pray for favors. I usually pray for insight or for clarity, as you so eloquently put it earlier when I was trying to describe it.
Did we record that part?
We didn't record that part, but that's what I pray for clarity and like why am I put here? Why is this thing happening to me? Why are these messages being sent to me? But I'm in service of something that's bigger, and I will allow myself to be used in that service. So I will find myself when, especially in an interview situation or like a conversation with somebody privately, that stuff just comes out of me that sounds really smart, and it wasn't from me. It just comes. It is from no experience that I've had, no thought that I've had before, and I know then that's somebody using me for some kind of greater good. So that's awesome. And I want to just continue to do that and allow and surrender to that service.
When you pray for clarity,
this is getting weird, by the way.
Yeah, we're moving into different areas here. When you pray for clarity, do you and you pray for certain, like, why am I getting these messages, or what does this mean, or something? Does it come? Do you get answers?
Yes.
And how do they come?
As a knowing. Instant. It's like I ask and I know. And I think that's from meditation practice, a lot of hypnosis sessions, because that's what, when I was doing hypnosis with Grace on a regular basis, and she would have me ask questions, and it wouldn't come as a voice or words, it would just come as a knowing. And it was like these revelations that I couldn't believe that I didn't know before, because they were so simple, but answers that unlock doors that changed my life instantly. So yeah, it's just a knowing. And I have like chronic nightmares. I've always been riddled with anxiety. It's one of the reasons I started meditating when I was very young. And I'll ask about like a nightmare or a message or a repeated theme that's coming, and it'll just be like I've had nightmares about tornadoes, tornado nightmares recurring all the time. Tornadoes, and they get more and more intense. I'm in the tornado. I can feel lifted by the tornado. And then I was having this other themed nightmare where I was being attacked. And when I went into that state and I asked, what it was about, and this was actually during a past life regression, it was told to me that the dreams are the same. They're the same thing. They're about the same thing. And, went into the whole reason. It was like a 3-hour regression, so I won't bore you with all the details. But yeah, the clarity comes as a knowing.
Do you still have those nightmares?
They come back at certain times. So I had a tornado dream recently. It was different, though. It was interesting. I'm starting to like them, though. I'm starting to approach them when I'm in the dream. It's like lucid dreaming, and I can say, okay, this is happening. I'm in the tornado. What's the message? Like, I can do that. I know it's not real, so I can get through it. It's not as terrifying.
You know what I think you need? I think you need a float.
I'm not going in the floating chamber of horror.
There's not a chamber of horror. I think you need to go into the float tank and be in the nothingness and work out some tornado issues.
I don't believe in the nothingness. I believe in the everythingness.
Well, that's where everything is.
I like the environment.
I experience everything when I remove all the distractions.
But isn't that false, though?
No.
We have to absorb this physical world, and we have to navigate in it.
Yeah,
that's where the growth happens.
That's not the only place the growth happens, because but anywhere you go, there you are. So it's, that is the reality of everything.
All right, I'll try it.
The thing is, you take the experience and then you live from it. It's like doing it, which I've never done, but I'm using it as an example. I don't know why I'm using an example of something I've never done, but it's like an ayahuasca ceremony. You don't walk around doing ayahuasca in the morning instead of coffee.
But see, that
you do it one. You
crazy.
You do it one time and you receive messages and you have deep learnings, and then you live differently from it. And that's what a meditation practice is, or a float session is.
I'm not doing ayahuasca.
Or any type of breakthrough experience is. I don't know if I'm ever going to do ayahuasca, but. I always,
call me if you do.
I always think, oh yeah, well, I'll make a video. I'm very suspicious because we've had a lot of clients do ayahuasca over the years, and I don't think it's like poison or anything like that, but there's definitely psychoactive elements in it, and there's definitely different chemical compounds in it. But they talk about how you basically vomit and have diarrhea a lot of the time while you're doing it, and people are like, oh, it's
enlightening,
and they say it's cleansing you. And I'm like, I don't really know if the plant is cleansing you or if that's a toxic reaction, a semi-toxic reaction to something that's, semi-poisonous in there.
I don't know.
No float tank for you?
It's like, I feel, okay, I'm trying to sound non-judgmental, but I'm not even going to try. I got enough stuff. I got enough inspiration. I can get there. And with my distractions, I'll take them with me, and I'll work on them slowly. I'm not trying to fast track anything.
Yeah, no need.
Because some stuff is coming so fast, honestly. Like the insights, the knowledge, the experience. It's coming really fast lately, because I think that all I had to do was ask for it, and it's coming. So I don't need to put anything else in there to speed it up.
Yeah, your life moves pretty fast.
My life moves fast, but my spirit moves fast. I think that I really did ask for it. I said, I'm ready. I said I was ready, and this is a crazy thing. I was talking to my girlfriend yesterday about this because I was saying how she was like, you just have so many great things going on, and things are so awesome for you right now. And I'm like, yeah, like it just feels like I'm being blessed again and again and again. And then I thought about it for a second because I've had, I mean, you know my whole story, but, you know, I had like a hard time with things growing up, and I didn't have a lot of love or family or support, and, you know, there were elements of poverty, and there was a lot of stuff. And I look back on this past year, and last year I lost both of my parents, and they weren't like married, because people were like, oh, that's so romantic. Did one die because the other one died? I'm like, no, they fucking hated each other. They've been divorced for 20 years. Like, no one died because the other one died. So just happenstance. They died 7 months apart, and there's just a lot of family stuff going on. There's stuff going on in my life. There's stuff that I deal with, but it was this shift in perspective when I just said, give me the stuff. I'll learn from it. I promise. I'll be of service to you for your people, and I still feel blessed on top of all of it. I was like, oh yeah, my parents died. I just feel all these blessings coming. Or, oh yeah, I'm going through this with this family member, this addiction. I don't know. But there is this wonderfulness underneath all of it. You don't need anything to be happy. Nothing to be happy. Things to be healthy, like, you know, you need food and stuff, but I'm just doing really good.
Yeah, we've created a really good life.
The end. Let's eat cherries.
I can't believe you don't like lychees.
I'll try another one.
Did I ever get you any jackfruit yet?
No.
No. Did I ever get you any durian yet?
No.
Nothing.
You know how plain I eat.
I do, yeah. But those don't travel too well.
Okay.
That's it. When I come out, I'm bringing...
To Jersey? They don't travel to Jersey.
What?
Are they grown in Brooklyn?
No, they weigh like 70 pounds.
Oh.
They're gigantic. You didn't see... Oh, because you don't look at Instagram and Facebook. That's why you never like my stuff. You didn't like my jackfruit pictures. They're huge, though.
Okay.
I have like spiritual experiences with fruit.
Mm-hmm.
It does. There's something about it opens up different flavors and scents, open up like pathways in my brain and remind me of like what it was like to be a primal human, you know?
Oh, I feel the same about it. We have a friend that doesn't eat any fruit. And I think that's bizarre. Like I think about her, Laura. I think about her if I'm eating like a cantaloupe, and I'm like, how does she not eat fruit?
She doesn't like it, or she's allergic?
She just doesn't eat it. She's like, I don't eat fruit.
Not
It's
interesting.
like a diet thing. I don't know what it is. It's weird.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to ask her. But yeah, I love food. I love it. I love fruit.
Everything, most posts on like Instagram and social media are food pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And most questions are about food all the time. Even when it's not related to me and what I do, it's like restaurant questions and stuff.
Well, we have to eat every day.
I know,
it's
but
like
it's
one
like,
of those things.
But you know what's interesting though? We eat. I was talking to Dan about this on the last podcast. We eat more as a creative pursuit or an entertainment than we do as real nutritional.
That's okay though, right?
I think it's great to celebrate. I mean, what's happening actually, it's not okay what's happening in the regular world. But like if we go to Matthew Kenny's restaurant, it's like, yeah, I mean, they, you know, of course it's wonderful. It's like, it's just taking something wonderful and trying to make it even more wonderful.
But there's this weird thing around emotional eating, and I know it's coming out of disordered eating and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, maybe I hear more about it in the fitness world, but people get really upset when you say that you ate something and it made you feel good, because you got to remove yourself from that experience. And I think my friend Alex Jameson said like all eating is emotional eating. And that's okay, and I'm down with that. It is. Sometimes I eat cake when I'm sad. Like I made this whole post about how I had a Jewish apple cake because my mom used to make it, and I was sad and I was thinking about her, so I bought a slice from the local bakery, and that was what I needed. Mm-hmm. I didn't need to meditate or look inside. I just needed a piece of cake.
Well, yeah, food serves us in very different ways sometimes.
But it's okay, right?
Yeah, I tell people that all the time, and so a lot of times clients will come in for treatments or for consultations, and they'll say, "Oh, I ate this," and they have all this guilt and all this shit around the food, and I'm like, "Well, you know," and sometimes I'll say, "Well, how do you feel?" And they're like, "Well, I feel fine." I'm like, "So you're making yourself feel bad about something that you feel fine about?" I'm like, "Maybe it served you in a really good way, you know?"
I don't do guilt around food at all. That's one thing that I will never. I mean, no matter what I eat, I won't do the food guilt thing, because it's done, first of all. So.
Yeah, no, There's a lot of food guilt. There's a lot of food tantrums that go on.
What's a food tantrum?
Food tantrums are when people are trying to make a lifestyle change, and they're in a state of transition for like 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and they can't break free of the addictive qualities of food. So they create all this drama around it, around that thing. And then they go through periods of they feel like victims. Why can't I have this? Why can't I do, and that's one of the reasons why I don't work one-on-one with people anymore. Is because
it's
of that
such a
type
waste
of
of time. I mean, the meditation thing, the reason why I do 4-minute meditations and all of that is because I just feel like the things that should bring you happiness should not be taking up so much of your time. We live a very short life, and I can get very cliched when I go into this part, but there's a limited amount of days, a limited amount of years. It really does feel like it's moving by so super fast. I cannot worry about my problems and issues that much. I can't do it. It's like paying taxes. It's like, why do I have to do this? Why can't I just get to the happy part? So I like to make the transitions that kind of stuff very quick. No pain.
Do you then, based on what you just said, do you contemplate death? We'll bring us to a happy subject.
Do I contemplate death? I used to be super afraid.
Yeah, we had a conversation. You were like, I don't want to talk about this or something. This was years ago. I remember that.
Really?
Yeah.
I used to be so afraid. I remember being 8 years old, and my mother, I shared a bedroom with my mother. It's a long story. I shared a bedroom with my mother, and she was in a relationship, so she would leave a couple nights a week. So she would go and see her boyfriend on Wednesdays and Saturday nights, and I was so afraid of the dark.
How old were you?
I was 8.
8.
And I would stare at the curtains, and she had these ugly purple curtains in her bedroom.
Who was home? It was just you?
It was
and
my
your
dad.
Sister? Your dad was home?
My dad was home.
Yeah.
And
Dad's not the same as mom.
well, I was sharing a bedroom with my mom.
Yeah.
Like she was like, I was very close to her.
Uh-huh.
So I'm staring at these curtains, these ugly purple curtains, and I said, when I die, there's no more purple curtains, and there's no more fish tank, and there's no more dragon lamp, stuff in my mom's room. And no more dragon lamp, and no more Pink Floyd, because I would listen to that when I went to bed every night. That terrible choice of music. My mother would put me to sleep to Pink Floyd, Kotaro, which was this new age Japanese artist, and Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac.
And that's what you would go to sleep to, looking at the dragon lamp.
Every night, dragon lamp, Pink Floyd, purple curtains. And I'd say, there's no more of this. There's nothing. There's nothingness. And I just remember saying it over and over again, nothingness, nothingness. What happens when there's nothing? And I knew in that moment, even though I was going through this tremendous turmoil of family life and stuff going on, I wanted to cling. I needed that. I wanted to cling to it. And I said, I'd rather have this than nothingness. And it freaked me out. So, and that's weird because it's the first time I've ever even said that out loud. The podcast.
Contemplating death at 8 years old is intense.
Oh, I mean, that was me. I was so much smarter and deeper when I was 8. But so I thought about that a lot. And then I lost my parents last year, and gone through my own transitions. And I had this conversation with my dad on his deathbed, and he said he wanted me to be saved. He was a devout Christian, and he had just been baptized right before he went into the hospital. And he said, I really want you to be saved. I want you to, I just want to make sure that you're okay before I die. And I was like, you've done all this stuff. You've been baptized how many times now? Like you go to church, you do all the hoot and hollering, you pray every day, and you don't feel okay. Like you don't feel okay, and I feel okay. Like I feel really safe right now. And saying that to him made me realize that I was finally okay. So I don't want to die, but if I fell off a cliff, I'm okay with where I'm going.
Yeah. And do you believe that the soul's eternal?
Yeah.
You do.
100%.
There's so much evidence. Isn't there so much evidence of that?
I don't know, but I just believe it.
Oh, there's between past life regressions and near-death experiences, and I feel like there's so much
My
evidence.
past life regression solved so many things for me. I cannot even... The comfort that it brought me for just legitimizing experiences that I've had, thoughts that I've had, feelings, bringing things full circle, knowing that I had been seeing this past life my whole life as this place of comfort where I wanted to be back again, and then actually seeing it and experiencing it.
What is that place?
I was this girl. It's so funny. I was this girl who lived in Nebraska, which I found at the end of it because she was like, look around. Do you see any mail? Do you have an idea where you were? And I started laughing and I was like, I'm in Nebraska. Like, what the hell am I doing here? I was living, it was the 1860s, late 1860s, early 1870s. I guess Nebraska had just been being settled. We were in this middle of this field and I was a caretaker for this older woman and I was incredibly lazy. And because she lived in her bedroom, I never really cleaned the house. The house was dusty and just a mess. But she was always upstairs. And there was a soldier that lived with us, but he had left. And but I used to spend my entire day out in the field, just dancing around, lying in the field, looking at the sky, just lazy, irresponsible, not accountable to anyone. And but when I would drive down the highway sometimes with my husband and I would look out into a field, I'm like, I just want a house in a field. I just want a big white house with a porch that goes all the way around it. And I just want to be in a field with nothingness. I don't want to see mountains. I don't want to see anything. I want a prairie. And I didn't know why that made me feel so good. So when I drive by fields, I'm like, oh, I love this. I want to be out there in the middle of the field. And so then I had this regression, and that's exactly where I was. And I wanted something profound to happen, but I was just this lazy girl that like had a field all day, but I was just in such joy.
Was it, did you go into like a deep trance meditation, hypnotic state?
No, I was super aware.
You were aware of everything.
I was aware to the point that I felt really silly with the stuff that I was saying. I was like, this is dumb. Like, this is silly. I'm making this up.
But it felt right.
I knew exactly where I was.
And did you go back into any other lives or anything, or you just did one session?
Well, I had, we were dealing a lot with like childhood trauma, so I had a hard time getting out of this one period of my life. So when we did jump there, it was like that was the only place. She did take me to the end of that life. And I was in Portland, and I was an old lady, and I was single again. I guess I had been married. I had grandchildren. And I was looking out into the street in Portland, and I was like, I just love being here. This is so exciting. People are building things. Like, this is bustling, all these young people coming. And I was so excited about it. And then when she wanted me to talk about when I was leaving, I was like, I just don't want to die. Like, I'm just really happy. And I did. I just died in my chair, and I just drifted off. But I was just really content. Nothing spectacular happened. Everyone I talked to has been like a princess or warrior. And I was like, I'm just this chick hanging out.
I've never had a past life regression. Brian Weiss's books, Many Lives, Many Masters.
Yeah.
That book gave me such a sense of calm around death. Because I used to get freaked out when I would think about death sometimes. And when I read his book, I was like, that's really what I believe, just at my core. And here he is validating it for me. It's just fun. For the listeners that don't know who Brian Weiss is, he was...
you gave me that book.
Did I give you that book?
That was like my introduction into like the new age.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm your new...
Well, I mean, there was Be Here Now, so I was receptive to it, but like to that whole thing, yeah. I'm
your new age bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Brian Weiss, he was a psychiatrist. He was a clinical psychiatrist that, and he was very by the book. And he started to, the amazing thing is he started to regress somebody through hypnosis into their childhood to look for a trauma or something. He was just like working by the book and doing what they did. And not only, it got confusing because this client of his went back into a past life and he was trying to figure out what it was, thinking, is it her imagination or whatever. And then suddenly she went in between lives and started to communicate things about his child that died. His wife, I think, had miscarried, and something about his father who had passed, and all these really personal things to him, and it just blew his mind, and that was it. And then from there, he did so many regressions and cataloged a great volume of work.
Life Between Lives is I've done that, and it's that was, I think, the point of greatest clarity for me, because I was having to create this council of people who were to guide me, and I was supposed to connect with my spirit guide, and I knew that the entire time that it was a creation of my mind. The experience was real, but I'm like, this council, who they wouldn't even look at me. It was like I could see this table. I knew that was like a construct of my imagination, but the place that I was so real, and the stuff. It's just you get these answers that cannot be coming from you. It's information. It's like real information. So I'm into it.
So you went between lives in this regression session?
Yeah, I did, right before I came out. Mm-hmm.
Regression session.
Hashtag.
It's a hashtag regression session. It's my new band.
Are you keeping a list?
Yeah, I got the hashtag
Bearded
list.
Beavers.
Bearded Bieber.
But yeah, it's all there. That's what consciousness is. I believe it. I believe there's a God, there's a creator. I believe there's this consciousness that we can tap into and connect with at all times. I see it a lot with my mother coming to me since she's passed. And I'm not someone who asks for it. It's like I don't need dead people to talk to me at all. I'm good with her being gone. I'm okay with her being gone. I see the messages though. And I know that I'm being guided. And I think anyone can see that as long as they surrender.
I want to bring us back to the conversation we were having about your presence on YouTube and how you first got started into it, making fitness videos. When did things start to really gain momentum?
It's always been slow and steady.
Slow and steady, so it just kind of moves and moves and moves.
There's been moments that were significant to me. You know, being picked YouTube next trainer, like when they picked 16 trainers from around the world and they like kind of promoted us.
What did that mean exactly? I remember when that happened. That's like YouTube said to you, like, you guys are doing a great job.
Yeah. They gave us like cameras and lights and
to make better
equipment. Yeah. We got to train with some really cool people, like Billy Blanks from Tybo. I don't know if you know him.
Yes, I do know him.
He like did,
not personally.
He did like a webinar with us, and we just like had it was like really fun. We connected with each other. That's how I became really good friends with Cassie Ho from Blogilates. I mean, we were kind of friends before that. She's like 1.5 million YouTube followers now, I think at least.
Wow.
But yeah, only guys do this. Women really don't pat their foreheads. I'm gonna do that though. So it was an opportunity to kind of get more exposure, but that was a big deal for me. Getting my own TV show, that was a big deal for me.
That was a big deal. Thank you for having me on that show, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm so fascinated by that show because I was thinking so it was called Got Zen.
Yeah.
And your job on that show is to create content based around the concept of Zen.
Right, which no one knew anything about.
If somebody said, we got a show for you, of course I would say yes, but then I would be like, how in the hell am I going to get, and what is this? I remember you telling me, so I said, how do you do, how many episodes were there? It was like 40 episodes?
39, yeah.
39 episodes. And I said, how did you come up with all of that content for that? And you were like, oh, you told me something about like date night, but it's just you and you're like massaging your legs or something.
Yeah,
it
was like Zen and Pets, Zen and Fashion. And I'm like, do you guys even know what the fuck Zen means? Like, it was like a whole staff of people who had they were looking at Buddha quotes online before each show. And I was like, could you verify these quotes? Because I don't even think Buddha said that. And it was like it was a dumb name, Got Zen. It was so, oh God. I mean, it was just everything wrong with what's westernized about Eastern philosophies, but whatever.
But you pulled it off well. You cut your teeth on that show.
Yeah, that was my first TV experience. It was a lot of fun. It was a great opportunity. I made a nice paycheck. Thank God it's over. I'm on to different things. But how do you develop content? Everything's universal, and that's the way I looked at it. Everything is universal. If I'm talking about Zen, I might as well be talking about Christianity or Judaism or whatever, because it's all the same message. So let's see how I can spin this. Mm-hmm. And so how do your pets make you feel good?
And you did 30 minutes on it, but 15 minutes were a meditation, so that was good.
There was like 6-minute meditation. Then I had to do a yoga routine based around Zen and Pets. So I'm like, I'm going to do up dog. And then I'm going to do down dog. It was so silly. But people liked it. I hate saying it's dumb. I do a lot of things that I think are dumb, but I do get really amazing messages from people because they're not like in this whole game. They're not into the whole meditation game or the Zen game. So it's a new thing for them and they get excited.
Yeah,
so
and things are relevant at the time. And if somebody's watching, it's relevant to them. I used to watch Dr. Fred Bishey do a cable access show on Staten Island that nobody would watch. My dad didn't even want to watch it with me. I'd say, Dad, can you? This is back in the day when you had to actually watch something when it was on. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't fly today. But
really? I feel like that's what we're doing right now.
We're doing cable. Thank you.
We don't have like the velvet curtains behind us though, and like things falling over in the background.
I'll get some velvet curtains. We got some velvet curtains.
I did cable access recently. I was on mid evenings with Jay Miller. That was the most fun I've had on TV.
Jay Miller totally ignores me on social media.
And we should call him out.
Yeah, I should call Jay Miller out. Well, Jay and I don't know each other as well as I know. We have a lot of common friends. I love that show, though. He's doing some work on Impractical Jokers now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those guys who also ignore me on social media now. But
enough about them.
But they're doing a great job. I love that show. I tell you, I love that. You know, I went to school with them. They went to Farrell.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I went to Farrell. So I would go and watch them because my girlfriend was she was like in the drama club, and she would come. You know, they would have it was an all boys school, but they would have girls come from all girls. Mary.
Oh, I don't know her.
So she would do stuff there. So I would go watch them perform, and those guys were great back in the day. I'm so happy that that they have that show. Anyway, enough about them. Yeah. I remember in the beginning you had all of these like YouTube creepers, like guys that would comment on your stuff. Do you still have that stuff? You don't have that anymore. You've totally grown out of that. I think because you changed the energy. Or do you think it was from having babies?
It's changing the energy. No, it's from changing the energy. I had 3 kids when I started on YouTube.
Not that your energy was weird or like provocative.
No.
It was just that now it's like.
No,
you know.
I've said this a lot. I have girlfriends who are fitness YouTubers, and they get the like, oh, you've been working out, but you're still fat, or they'll say like crazy comments, or like you're ugly or whatever, and I just don't get that. I've gotten a couple like hater comments. I think people know that it's just not what I'm about. First of all, I don't come out and talk about being skinny. I have these things in my titles, but when they get to the meat of the video, they understand that it's about something very different. And I do think that I have a confidence about me that disallows those types of comments. Like, I'm not going to get trolled because it doesn't bother me because it's stupid.
And you don't engage with trollers, right? Because if you engage
sometimes
with them,
I do. Sometimes it's funny.
You do?
Yeah, I think it's funny, especially the vegan trollers. No offense to the vegan across the.
Wow, man, the vegans they love animals, but they hate Alex Jameson.
They hate Alex Jameson, and thank Jesus that they hate Alex Jameson because that video gets so much traffic on Google Plus.
Well, I went on there. I defended her.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
I didn't even see it.
I don't remember what I said, but I basically said, save your comments for like epic mealtime or something. Why are you bothering her? She spent how much time not eating animals? How much time converting people to not eat it? She saved so many animals' lives, and you're gonna give her a hard time because she wants a piece of fish?
But they're mad at her because they're like, she's making money off these books. Like the books somehow don't have any purpose anymore. They
still have value.
Like,
yeah.
I can have a vegan cookbook. I would buy a vegan cookbook. I'm not a vegan. I can still use the recipes. I mean, I would. And this is why I don't label myself, and I really have absolutely nothing against the vegan community whatsoever. I'm hanging out with you.
I've been vegan for 20 years. I am the vegan community.
You are the vegan community. It's just like, I don't see the point in railing. But I do say to the people who are like, why are these people getting so bent out of shape? I'm like, because they are guardians of living things, and they feel this responsibility. So I get it. It's just that way is not going to change anybody. But whatever. I mean, I think she did good work. I like her cookbooks. I think she continues to do really good work. Her next book is going to be freaking amazing. Women, Food, and Desire.
So that's a great title.
Yeah,
that's a great
really great
title.
Content.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that because on the last, there were some comments on the last video that we did, not the one that dropped today, but the one before that, because I had mentioned that there was a young girl that had emailed me, and as a lot of women do, or women come into the office, and they talk about weight. I need to lose weight. Sometimes on the phone, I used to fall into the trap where I talk to them and I'd be like, and I'd be like, okay, well, when I see you, we'll go over this and I'll help you lose weight. And then they get there and I'm like, whoa, why are we even talking about weight? And this is the place, I know I'm not a woman, but this is the place I come at it with, is that when you eat healthy, your body finds its natural weight. And women, hormonally, everybody's different, first of all, but hormonally, women are not all supposed to look like a swimsuit model. It's just your body's trying to balance you out for either to have babies, to stop having baby, to stop being in the phase of having baby. Whatever it is, your hormones are regulating what's going on with you, and or your diet's affecting what you're doing. So
I'm so tired of this conversation though, because I have it with my girlfriends too. Like, I need to lose 5 pounds. I need to lose 5 pounds. First of all, if you've been trying to lose the 5 pounds for the past however long, you maybe should just give up because you look good, and I'm over this conversation. That's like number one.
Thank you.
So mean.
Thank you.
But it's. Do you poop every day? How are you sleeping? How are you feeling generally? Could you run a mile and not die? Like those kinds of questions. And then they say, yes. Everything comes out on the positive. then what are you worrying about this last 5 pounds for, or 10 pounds? I mean, really, you're where you're supposed to be. You eat well, you're sleeping, you have good relationships, you go to the bathroom. What? So I'm over it. I mean, I could lose 10 pounds according to the charts. I mean, I could lose more now because I'm pregnant, but I was 10 pounds overweight when I got pregnant this time.
According to some chart.
Yeah, and according to where I was 10 years ago.
Yeah. I don't like looking at the numbers like that.
Unless
we're looking at like cancer markers or liver enzymes, there's no point in looking at numbers like that.
I just feel so good. What are the numbers going to do for me? They're definitely not going to make me feel better.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I've had conversations with clients about, I just want to take a little bit out from around my knees and all this stuff.
The knee.
And I'm like, look at me. Who are you talking to? I'm having this conversation with you about that. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, it's a shame. The old, and this is why, this is one of the reasons why I don't want to work one-on-one with clients anymore, is that when I first got into doing detox work and nutritional work and colonic therapy, the people that came in, like, it was like a movement, and it was this, like, we were so cool. It was this thing where, like, we used to go into these basements, and I remember going into the basement of High Vibe, and David Wolf was there speaking. We were all jammed into this basement. There were like 50 of us in a place like the size of this, you know, we're all like jammed in. And David's up there and he's talking, and it's like it was all of this. I mean, a lot of the raw food speakers weren't right about everything, but a lot of it was like this groundbreaking scientific information that nobody knew about, that nobody talked about. There were people in the audience that had, I mean, there was multi-million-dollar CEOs in the audience. There were people there that had healed from different cancers. There were people there that had gone through tremendous lifestyle changes. They were like the strange old NYU professor with the big white long beard that was a spiritual raw foodist. It was just this group of people, and we were on the edge of something, and it was wonderful. And it's now sort of degraded into, let me have food tantrums and complain about my body all the time.
Maybe gluten-free.
What?
Gluten-free.
Gluten-free? Why did you say gluten-free?
Because when you talk about the science of everything, and I hear all the science, and I do read that is something I try to stay informed about, and it all comes back to, like, that sounds like common sense. Like, you eat food, you don't fuck with it, you move around.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you really need somebody to do a study on this, and now now I think it's even gone to the other end of the spectrum where people, what's that called? When you're and you have that disorder because you're too healthy. Are you
orthorexia? I have a big story around this, but finish.
No,
Go ahead.
It's like, so now everyone's freaking gluten intolerant. My guy.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Everybody also has candida.
Everyone has
not.
a thyroid condition. Everybody has a thyroid. What's up with that? Why does everyone have these, like, messed up thyroids?
I didn't hear. I mean, I know from the people that I see sometimes, but you mean like across
everybody? And I'm like, girl, maybe you just ate too much. And no. I know you don't exercise. You know, it's like everybody wants that thing so that they can stop being responsible for just doing not the right thing, but the easy thing, really. You know, it's like, just do the easy thing. Just eat the food and move around. It's too much.
Aaron Huey, one of my sort of life teachers, he led some processes that I've done in the past. One of the things that I don't remember in what context he said it, but he said it to us when we were doing a process once, and he said, "What are you pretending not to know?" And I always repeat that. Yeah, that's Aaron Huey said that to me for the first time. And I say that all the time to people. What are you pretending not to know? At the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, they have this thing in their program when you're working with your clients. One of the first places that you guide someone is you ask them a question. You say, "What are 3 things that you're doing that you could be doing for your health right now that you're not?" And everybody already knows what the first 3 things they need to do are.
Yeah.
But we pretend not to know them.
I run into it too with, like, the natural childbirth, breastfeeding, all that kind of stuff. You're always talking to the exception. It's always like, oh, you know, that's really good for you. But I really was part of that 3% of women who couldn't breastfeed. Like, because my doctor said, like, they're always the exception. And I'm just like, God, it's like not even the people. I mean, it's their fault a little bit. It's, you know, the fault can be spread around, the blame. But why, I mean, the medical community, your friends, everyone is trying to take your power away. And that's I think another one of my primary messages, one of my functions is, like, you are empowered to do this. You can heal yourself. And I'm not even afraid. I don't have to put a disclaimer at the end. Like, you can heal yourself. You can have a baby because you were made to do it. You know, you can nurse a baby because otherwise the baby would die if you were out in the wild. Like, you can do these things. And it's just by virtue of the fact that we have been told that we can't, or that there's a possibility that we can't. And then our bodies stop working for us. I didn't have a choice when I was nursing my first baby. It sucked so bad. It hurt so bad. The milk wasn't coming in. Everything was wrong. It was depressing. Like, all those things. But I knew in the end that these were things that you go through and that it would work out in the end.
So you look at it this way. It's sort of like, I'm not a woman, so I can't speak to childbirth or anything like that. But you sort of look at it as like, you know, if I'm having complications or issues breastfeeding and it hurts, that's just as my childbirth was painful. Like, this is the part of the process, and this is what I go through, and you just accept it and get into it.
It's part of it.
Yeah.
It's not meant to all feel great. It's not all meant to feel easy, but it is very simple. It's very easy. It's that I was made to do this. My body would not betray me. I have faith, and so it happens. That's it. And I think that so many of our health issues, our infertility issues, our inability to bond and nourish our babies the way that we're built to, comes from this lack of understanding of our own power. And it's just really fucked up because we're being robbed. And, you know, like, not to transition so fast from food to the birthing process, it's just what I'm going through right now, you know, being pregnant and all. Is that I feel like we're being robbed of these experiences that women have then been told that are not that big of a deal. Because how many times have I seen online, like, oh, well, it doesn't, as long as I get a healthy baby at the end, it doesn't matter how it comes. Well, yeah, we all want the healthy baby at the end, but it does matter how it comes. It does. There is something that happens during that childbirth process when the baby is transitioning from being inside of you to outside of you. The hormones, the feeling, all of those things that are built into our bodies to make us love and care for our babies afterwards and bond with them. That has to happen. Otherwise, something is missing.
Do you use any pain meds or anything during childbirth?
Not the last two, and I won't for this one. This one will be born at home.
Mm-hmm.
This will be my second home birth.
And you breastfeed all the children?
Yeah.
And for how long do you breastfeed for?
17 months was the first, 24 months second, 20 months the third, 26 months the fourth. And this one, I always pray
32 months.
I always pray for 12 months.
I'm going to bet 32 based on that formula.
I always pray for 12 months, but, you know, I fall in love with the process too.
And you're having a girl.
I am.
And do you guys know what you want to name her?
I do. I'm not saying it online.
Okay.
I'll tell you afterwards though, because we do have a name.
We, you know what happened with this orthorexia thing? I was a couple of years ago, Dateline, right? What does John Stossel do? Dateline, right?
I think so.
Dateline, NBC.
I don't watch the things.
Yeah, I don't either. But they came and they wanted to do. They were doing this thing, this piece on what they said was on the raw food diet. Okay. So I'm like, so they wanted to come to the office. They wanted to interview us. I was doing some talks at what's that big conference that happens in New York? I forgot the name of it. I haven't done it for years. Not Omega. New Life Expo. Okay. But it was the Raw Food and Yoga Expo, and I was giving a talk, and they came and they like taped me, and they taped a bunch of other people, and the guy said, came to the office, and he said, listen, I want to be clear, this is not a pro like raw food show or anything, and he goes, it's not a con either, it's like we're just going to examine it like for what it is. Mm-hmm. Okay, that made sense. So the show comes out, it's on YouTube actually. The show comes out, and it's like they start the show, and they have this guy on, and he's a YouTuber, an early YouTuber. On YouTube, and you look at him, and he looks severely malnourished. He is a self-admitted anorexic and bulimic.
I think I know who
his name is Johnny, and he's got tattoos and everything. Self-admitted. His I think his YouTube thing is it's like called like my own personal stick figure or my own stick figure or something. Mm-hmm. Going through a lot of stuff with food in his body. They put him on, and I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, okay, what is the angle here? Why is he on a raw foods thing? And it says, and he's like making all this organic food, and John Stossel or somebody who's narrating, I think it was John Stossel, says, this man is killing himself with his diet. He's orthorexic. They never mention that he's actually an anorexic and bulimic. They never mention any of that. And they basically made a mockery of the whole thing. And I'm just yeah, it's just
TV.
Yeah, that's TV, and I learned a lesson.
And Zen
No
and
more,
Pets.
no more Dateline NBC. No more. Big Ange wanted to come. VH1 wanted to bring Big Ange into the office, and we said no.
Oh, come on.
It wasn't my choice. It wasn't my choice. She is my. I love her. I love her so much.
You love Big Ange?
I love Big Ange. She reminds. You know what she is? She is all of my friends. My family and all of my friends' mothers all put into one person. Yeah, and dads put into put into one person. I think she's wonderful. You know what's funny? Ellen was asking me. We really got like wrapped up in some mob wives stuff, and Ellen was asking me. She was like, "Hey, she's like, I know you know some of these mob wives from Staten." I'm like, just because I'm from Staten Island doesn't mean I know them. And I actually turns out I do know a couple of them, but
really?
Yeah. We looked on Facebook, and then I remembered where I knew them from when I was growing up, too.
Okay.
And because I remember Renee's voice, and I was like, I know those eyes, and I know that voice.
Really?
And she was, we weren't
She's like the kingpin.
Yeah, she was a king. Like, we've been at parties together. She wasn't like my close friend or anything, but so she's looking at the thing, and she's like, this Drunken Monkey place? She's like, come on, you got to know this place. It's in Staten Island. And I'm like, I don't know it. I'm like, look it on the map. I'm like, it's probably on the South Shore somewhere. I have no idea where it is. It's 1 block from my parents' house where I grew up. I was like, it's right there. I've never seen it before. But the reason we said no to Big Ange, we really said no to VH1. I didn't know it was Big Ange until the end. They said one of the mob wives wants to come on. I had never seen the show at the time, and we were just
such a good show.
It's such a good show, isn't it? It gets a little intense after 12 episodes.
It's funny though, because people from like other parts of the United States, and they said this about Jersey Shore, like that's not what it's really like. I'm like, it really is.
Oh,
actually.
No, it is. It really, yeah. It's a little reality TV-ish, but you go out on a Friday night to a Staten Island bar, and that's what's going on.
Yeah,
like those conversations are going on.
Why'd you say no to Big Ange?
Oh, we just said no to VH1 because of that experience. And, Donna had said no, actually. And I was on my way. I was selling the business, and I was on my way out. And Donna was like, she's just going to come in and make a mockery of it. And I didn't know who it was that was coming. And then when I found out later, I was like, I love that woman. I was like, Big Ange is wonderful.
You should get her on your podcast.
I could. I can just go over to the Drunken Monkey. It's right down the street from where my parents live. I could ask her to come on, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know what in the realm of detox or wellness we're going to speak about.
Give her some lychees.
Yeah, I'll give her that colonics.
Big Ange reacts to lychees.
To lychees. I'll give her that colonics she always wanted.
She needs it. Wow. Can you imagine Big Ange's colonic?
I don't want to imagine. It would just be cigarette smoke coming out of her colonic.
It'd just be puffs.
She's so lovely, though, I think.
I mean, I love these women. I love the mob wives. I love New Jersey Housewives. I love the Jersey Shore. I think that these people are so real. I think that there's a reality element, like you were saying. Like there's some stuff going on, but they can't help but be themselves. They can't help. It's a lot different than other reality shows. I think it's just from where they're from. It's like we can't help it.
You know how producers try to push situations? I bet you with them all they have to do is go, hey, why don't you go talk to her? And then it just blows up.
Talk about your brother-in-law.
Yeah, that's it. That's the end of it.
But no, I enjoyed them very much. I see a lot of realness. I know, it's like familiar. It just feels good. They need to do a South Jersey Housewives. I'd be on that.
Oh, yeah, huh?
That's a scene.
That would be good. Oh, Justin's pumped on that.
Yeah, the Pine Barrens, the Piney Housewives.
I remember the first law of YouTubing from Justin. It was you could do whatever you want as long as I don't have to be on the camera or something like that. Yeah, that didn't work out too well, Justin.
He's in on it. A couple hits. But I love it. I love the medium. I love connecting people with. I love reality. I think it's the best thing that ever happened to media.
See, that's why I don't remember if I mentioned this in the last podcast that never got recorded, or if I had mentioned it in the one that did get recorded. But that's why I was watching the Freely and Doreen Rider thing, taking them to the airport.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I was like, well, I just really enjoyed it. And I'm like, this is so weird. Why do you enjoy this? Who do you like to watch on YouTube? Who's like entertaining to you?
I don't watch YouTube videos.
You don't watch YouTube videos. You don't use social media. So you just watch The Real Housewives? Mm-hmm. Is that it?
Mm-hmm. I really don't. I don't. I watch a lot of OWN, of the Oprah Winfrey Network. A lot. Uh-huh. I like things that make me feel good. I like TV that makes me feel good. I like to learn. I don't read fiction. I only read nonfiction. I like to constantly be learning, downloading. And so Masterclass is my favorite show, where they just have like the celebrity or whomever in front of the camera talking about their life. I sit there with like my notes and I just copy quotes.
Who were the first people on that show? I feel like I watched a couple. They were phenomenal.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I
remember Eckhart Tolle was on there. Tolle,
oh
however
gosh,
you say his
he's
name.
so hard to listen to though.
He was a little hard to listen to, isn't he?
So hard.
There was someone on there. Oh, Tony Robbins was on. That's why I watched it.
Did he do master? He did life class.
Oh, life class. Yeah.
Life class is where like they have like a classroom environment, which I'd love to go to one of those. But the master class, Bishop T.D. Jakes just did a life class that was really good. I love him. That's the thing. Like, get me in a church. That's the environment I like. That's how I treat Super Soul Sunday, and I know that's what her intention was. Like, I want to create this place where people go on Sunday mornings. I'm like, oh, like church, and but I crave that experience. I love that.
You prefer live connection, yeah?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. It's so weird, this virtual world.
But that's what reality does for us in a little way, because we've become so disconnected from each other, and we don't need the fantasy anymore. We want real connection with people, so it gives us a way to connect, even in a one-sided way. So I like that. But, yeah, the live thing and the energy, I love the energy of people. I love community. So, I mean, the YouTube thing, I will do it forever because it's about the community.
It's a bridge between people you'd never really be able to get together with. Yeah.
Right. So it's really cool, but... Yeah, Oprah, I'm into it. I'm into her shows. Well, the people that are on her show. It's not her so much. I mean, she's great, but, you know.
Well, it shows in the work that you're doing now.
What?
It shows
the work
in the work
I'm
that
doing
you're
now?
doing now. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's coming far away from a long way from like what was the 3 minute Tabata stuff or something?
You have 4 minutes.
You have 4 minutes.
Were Tabata videos.
Tabata videos.
Workouts. Yeah.
And now it's she has 4 minutes and it's about all these wonderful people.
Yeah, you were on one. You were a she.
Yes, I was a she,
You were a recent
and that dropped
she.
today.
Yeah.
I just watched it before you came here.
I haven't seen. I posted it. It went on like a scheduled post, so I haven't sseen any reaction. I haven't read any of the reaction to the newsletters that went out and stuff. So
it looked so far so good. I think the comments looked okay. I remember you were like, I want to talk about weight loss or something, and I was like, oh, okay, I could talk to that. And then I walked in and you said, we're gonna do a video on how you take care of yourself, and I was like, "Who said I take care of myself?"
You do take care of yourself,
No,
though. You're funny.
I do. I just had to think about it a little bit. But
I think it's because it's your life, and it's not something that you do so. And I mean, there is intention in it, but it's automatic for you at this point. It's the way you live. But I think that regular people looking in, would be like, "Whoa, they're not snacking on lychees and even drinking water."
Yeah. It's funny what's the video has the most amount of hits right now out of all the videos you've done?
Most recently or overall time?
Overall time.
Okay, overall time would be the lose weight in 15 minutes. It was a workout.
How many views do you have on that?
Like 3 million.
Wow.
But the one that's been most popular for a very long time is our video, which is the how to get a flat belly in 5 days, which is basically food combining,
Well, that's what I was going to bring up, that video. That video that is done so well. It's very basic truths that I've been talking about for God knows how long.
Blowing people's minds.
I've been saying, Dr. Bushy put that in his paperwork in 1995 when I walked into his office, and I was doing it and telling people to do it from there, and then Gil and us and at the place, and here we are on a video, and it's like the biggest thing.
I had a text thing with a friend yesterday who was telling me how complicated it was. And I was like, I just can't do it. There's so many rules. I'm like, okay, first of all, there was 5 things. And for real. And it's like, eat fruit by itself. Don't eat in combination with anything with greens. Greens can go with anything. And it was like, I just went through it. And they're like, oh, I guess it was easy. And I'm like, but that's exactly what we said in the video.
It is.
It's, people got to get out of their own way and understand that they can be healthy too. It's for them.
People make things very complicated when it's time to get healthy.
Yeah.
Suddenly it's like, oh, complications, juice, I got to make time. What can I juice? Can I juice organic? If I juice kale, is it going to wreck my thyroid? All of a sudden there's all these concerns and problems and scheduling. But when it came time to eat cheese fries at 2 o'clock in the morning, nobody gave a shit. Nobody asked a question. But now all of a sudden it's like, all right, I'm going to get healthy. I got to go to the store and buy the gear to do it. I got to think about what kind of juicer. I got to watch 18 and like 3 months go by and it's like, they haven't done anything.
You have to get the equipment. You
do, but just get it. Just get the shit.
No, I went and met with a book agent this morning, and he gave me a book proposal from a colleague of mine. And, it's another method. It's another fitness method. And I'm thinking, these people got it all wrong. They're spending a lot of time developing all these new methods, but what's really blowing people's minds is when you just tell them to eat fruit by itself. And then it's like, it's revolutionary the simple things have been so lost.
I thought of that today.
So I'm going on that.
I was looking at your, I was looking at the video you did, and you were talking about the video that you that released, I think today or yesterday or very recently, and it was about, you know, are cleanses necessary and like the hype about cleanses. And I was looking and I was sort of listening to the video, and I went and looked at the cleansing products that were being talked about in the video, and I thought, I just thought, what the fuck is this? I mean, why complicate something? I get better results putting people on juices, smoothies, water, and salad. If you're going to take something in your body, don't put a bunch of dried, shitty, powdered crap into water and then rehydrate it and put it. What's the point in doing that? If someone doesn't have any access to food, obviously, but most people watching these videos probably have access to food, and it doesn't even have to be organic. If you know, you could fresh fruits and vegetables. It works every time. Puts people into deep levels of detox every time we work with someone on it.
You know, it serves a purpose though. It serves like there's people who are just never going to eat the fruit, you know? There really are. And it's not a transition, because they'll say, well, I'm going to try this because this is what's going to get me out of this way and put me into this way. And I'm like, this will never make you eat that way. It will not happen that way. Making it more complicated to get simple is dumb. But sometimes people are just going to have to make it complicated and keep it complicated for the rest of their lives. However it comes. I can't argue with people. I eat so simply. I don't even eat lychee. It's like you don't even need lychee. You can do apples and bananas and watermelon and cantaloupe and spinach and kale and the things that you can find at your grocery store. It doesn't have to be exotic. It's not hard. It's like the easiest thing in the world. But because people think that I have this really complicated diet situation going on and exercise.
We try a lot of things. What is this real food, fresh food that you're eating?
It's called, I don't want to endorse it on your podcast. It's a diet food delivery service. It's like a low calorie, but it's fresh food. It's prepared, but it's real. So it's, you know, it tastes good. It's not Nutrisystem. It's nothing freeze dried.
But hold on, I don't know anything about this company or anything like that. Yeah. But the concept behind this product is we're going to make real food for you and sell it to you as a package.
$45 a day.
For $45 a day. So basically you're just paying someone to make your food, yeah?
Well, one of my snacks was a tomato with goat cheese on it.
Which are two things that are food.
And it came in this big plastic thing, and it was a slice of tomato with goat cheese on it. And I'm like, wow, okay, well, that was a snack that I probably could have prepared myself. I don't know what's going on with people.
I'm an idiot. I should just be like, listen, guys, I have this brilliant business idea, because I bet you they're doing really well, this company.
I'm selling 4-minute meditations, Mike.
Listen to me. I'm gonna give this to you for free. Okay, this is some real food. Yeah. I'm gonna give it to you for free this time. Next time it's $5.
And in a giant plastic container.
Yeah.
And you ship it to their house overnight. So on my doorstep every night, I have this bag of food that's cold. It tastes delicious. I'm not knocking the food. The food is delicious, but honestly, it's like, it was shrimp and pasta. I could have made that. And I could have made it in like 3 minutes.
Wait, I thought you said real food.
What? Shrimp and pasta? Shut up.
Okay, no, we're not going to go there.
That's a real food. It's real food. You know.
Well, they don't have meat on the menu, do they?
Of course they have meat on the menu.
Well, meat is for pussies. Don't you know that?
You're plugging so many other people in this podcast.
We are going to... everybody's probably like, what the fuck did he just say? Yeah, John Joseph's book, Meat is for Pussies.
I can't wait.
That's where we're going tonight. For the release party of Meat is for Pussies. I just listened to John. You know, that title.
I love him.
I listened to him on the Rich Roll podcast. There's another plug I'm doing. That's a phenomenal podcast. Listen to this podcast. So don't listen to Rich Roll podcast. You listen to Rich Roll podcast after you listen to my podcast.
It's not like you're putting out 17 a day.
No. He puts out like 17 a day. It's a phenomenal podcast. And I just listened to John on there. It was really, really good.
John's great.
Really good. Like
my girlfriend, who's a love coach, has a crush on him.
Oh, yeah?
But she likes burgers.
Well, don't tell his girlfriend. She's like a mixed martial artist.
Well,
she likes burgers?
No, she likes burgers.
That's never going to fly with
She's coming
Joseph.
tonight, too. She'll be there tonight. My love coach friend, Rachel Dialto. She's amazing. I don't even think she's a love coach. I think she's like a life intuitive or something. She's a brilliant.
You made a video with her?
I did. Yeah. About napping.
I know her name.
Yeah, she's awesome. But John, I think, is really great. He's entertaining. He's smart. He's funny. He's doing it right. You know, like you gotta entertain people.
Did you see the super uptight New Agey people get all upset at that title? He had to defend it. He had to defend it, but they went crazy on that title.
I don't think it was super uptight New Agey people. It was like a lot of women, you know. I mean,
listen, when you get
nobody
on a
wants to be called
vegan
a pussy.
diet, you detox a lot of things out of your body. Sense of humor is one of them, I think, because come on, somebody came out with a book called Meat is for Pussies. I laughed at the title, you know what I mean? But
we have mutual friends that aren't happy about that title.
yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, I don't know. I don't find it offensive.
I don't have time to be bothered. Ain't nobody got time for that. It's like one of those things.
But I'm actually in that book.
Yeah, you do the recipes and stuff too, right?
I didn't do the recipes on this
didn't?
one. I did. I sent them recipes for the first. Anyway, they didn't make it in. He was saving it for like another book that he was going to do, like an edition, like the recipe book. So he saved it. But no, But I don't think he probably didn't get a thumbs up on that.
I need
book
to get
yet.
another copy. I gave my copy away and never got it back.
Well, they have hardcover tonight. Yeah, I'm in that book. I'm talking about colonics and detox in that book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I think Rich Roll is in New York. I don't know if you know who he is. He used to be a lawyer and he's an athlete. And he's been hanging out with John Joseph. Just did another podcast with him that I listened to. Or no, that one's not out yet. But he's in New York, and I think he's going to be there tonight. But he's fantastic. He's very smart, and he's in amazing shape. He's like a vegan athlete. Amazing shape. Very smart. Seems like a very gentle soul too. So anyway, we get to hang out with Rich Roll and John Joseph tonight.
I wonder if there's air conditioning in that place.
Yeah, it's a bit. I think that it's going.
Hot.
I went to the first one, the first release party.
So I was with you.
Oh, that's right. We went to. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be probably 5 times as many people on this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Will Moby be there?
Probably. He'll probably be there again.
I should get a picture of Moby.
Yeah.
I want as many celebrities with my baby bump as possible.
Tell me a little bit about the book that's coming up, because you changed. You were writing a book about your life.
Yeah.
About being you didn't even know that you were mixed originally.
The original book was called The Accidental White Girl.
Yeah.
And it was basically my story about discovering that I was biracial at 18 years old, but always knowing it. And kind of living in this very racist, segregated environment in an all-white family. And my father was the one who raised me, was pretty afraid of black people. So it was interesting. He took me on as his own and raised me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I was a product of an affair.
When did you find out?
Like I said, I always knew. I wrote about it when I was little in my journals and stuff. But I confronted my mom when I was 18. My older sister told me that there was a possibility that that I wasn't my dad's.
How did you know? Just because you didn't look like your sister at all?
Because I'm brown and my dad was Swedish.
Yeah.
He was like blonde and skinny and blue-eyed and. Yeah, so there was a clue. And my younger sister's 4'11", I'm 5'11", and blonde and, little.
While you were writing that book, your mother passed away.
She did. She wasn't speaking to me. I didn't speak to her for the last 3 months before she passed away. She stopped speaking to me in July, I think 29th was the last time I saw her, and then November 21st she passed.
And you were writing this book about, your time and everything in your childhood.
And she was very angry about it.
She was angry about the book, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That must have been a hard time. Or was it?
It was a tremendously hard time. I was struggling with a lot. I mean, like, this is my story. It's my story, because she kept saying it was her story. And I didn't have a right to tell it. And I knew that it would help people. And so I wanted to tell it. The interesting thing happened, though, that when she passed, and I mean, there's so much that happened, but she was on vacation when it happened. She was at a girlfriend's house when she had a massive stroke. And she passed 10 days after. So we spent the last 10 days in the hospital with her after her stroke. But her best friend that she was visiting is a writer and a poet. And she brought my mom to writing groups, and my mom brought up the book. So they were talking about it. And she gave excerpts of the book to her friend to read. And my mother was so insulted and so devastated by what I was writing. And her friend said, like, this is her story. Like, this is okay. This doesn't have anything to do with you. So there was some kind of closure with her, at least, before she passed. But then as soon as it happened, I kind of lost desire to write the book. It was
you put that book on the shelf. Did you complete the book?
No.
You didn't complete it. Almost done?
No.
Not even close.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So
there's a lot.
So we're not going to see that book for a while, but
but there will be elements of it in this new book.
And the new book is?
The new book is called You Have 4 Minutes, tentatively. Hopefully the publisher lets me keep it that way. And it's about meditation, but it's a little bit different. I've been doing lots of research on meditation, and it's a lot of like old white guys talking about either a very Americanized version where it's like I picked up this one book called 8-Minute Meditation, and I'm like, fuck, they stole my idea. And it's like so like nothing what I my book is pretty subversive. It's kind of goes against what people think meditation should be, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack, like this isn't meditation. And then it's also, I'm going to have women doing it, and they're going to go, oh, wait a minute, I'm meditating, I'm connecting with myself on a spiritual level, I'm connecting with consciousness. Like, they're not going to know it, because I do meditations for heartbreak and for ex-boyfriends and for bad hair days and for, all the stuff that happens to us every day. And that's how I get people in. That's the hook. So the book is the book's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to have a lot of real stuff in it. Every meditation has a backstory, so there's going to be a lot of my story in it. So there's going to be memoir elements.
And is it going to be all you, or is it going to be, you're going to have a lot of other people?
I'm still thinking about it. We might have some case studies with some client people, viewers, followers. I might bring in some experts. I'm really trying to resist having any kind of even like my own education influence this book until the very end. I really want it to be about my practice and what I developed to heal myself, because I was a severely broken person. Severely. I mean, panic attacks, nightmares, depression, suicidal thoughts, lots of stuff. I was not functioning on any level. So, and it wasn't anything that I had tried, drugs, prescription, illegal, therapies. I was going to a Gestalt therapy, is that how you would pronounce it, for a while. And nothing was working until I started doing this thing that just came very naturally.
See, and that's why your book's going to be so good, and why it's going to be so well received, because you have an experience that you're conveying, and the authenticity of what you're writing is going to come through.
Yeah, it's real. It's going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be good stuff. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
In the meantime, people can find you at BEXLIFE.com.
Yes.
And they could also find you on YouTube.
Let's go to BEXLIFE.com.
Because that's where you post your videos.
Let's make it easy for them.
Yeah.
Sign up for my newsletter, of course. That's the most important thing. That's where all the good stuff happens.
Yes. And you have a good Instagram feed that battles with your husband's Instagram feed.
Yeah. He's the Instagram sniper. He loves to take my pictures and put them up before of all of our shared experiences. It's all right. It's all right. You can follow him too at Justin Borucki. He has a really nice Instagram feed.
So find Rebekah Borucki at BEXLIFE.com. Thanks for coming on today. I appreciate it.
This is the most fun ever.
Do you have a good time doing this in the sauna with me today?
It's good. I feel detoxed.
Yeah. We had fresh fruits. We had lots of water. We sweat a lot.
Do you have a bathroom?
I did. We haven't gone to the bathroom for 2.5 hours.
I ate 2 pounds of cherries.
And now we're off. We're off to Meat is for Pussies.
Cheers.
Cheers. Guys, thanks for listening. You can find Bex at BEXLIFE.com. You can check out Justin's photographs at JustinBorucki.com. You can go to meatisforpussies.something and check that out. I don't know what it is, .com, meatisforpussies.com.
I think if they Google it, only one thing will come up.
So check that book out. And anyway, I don't know. I didn't ask anybody if I could use their music this time. I've been playing Dennis's music. I love Dennis's.
I steal Dennis's music, and then I asked him like long after.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
I always ask him first. So I've had a lot of good feedback from Dennis's music. It's the stuff they're
Very
doing
talented.
now. It's so good what they're doing now. They're playing tomorrow night actually. But that doesn't mean anything to anyone because this won't be airing until after that. But so maybe we're listening to Dennis Callow and The Change or one of my other amazing friends and their bands. So go check them out. Get over to everydaydetox.org, sign up for the newsletter, and find out when these podcasts are going to be and get all sorts of other cool stuff. And we will see you next time.